Hi everyone, I'm WABC Chief Meteorologist Lee Goldberg. This is Wake Up Weather for ABC7NY and for Weather or Not. So it is all about the dry stretch. We're going to talk about the dry pattern, the up and down temperatures. We've got your Liberty Parade planner, the outlook for all the Yankee World Series games. We're going to talk about the fall foliage forecast. It's all in this edition of Weather or Not. So we are at 24 straight dry days if we account for Wednesday's dry weather, and brisk and cooler weather is coming in for your Thursday. So the temperatures will be up and down, you'll see in the 7-day, but there's not much of an opportunity for rain. The two times that I will highlight will be early on Thursday morning and then again on Saturday morning. Both threats are very, very minimal. So with that now 24 straight dry days, we are now into the top 10 on record of longest dry stretches on record. We're already into the driest start of October on record, and I'll get to those stats. The cool down, well, it's brisk on Thursday. I mean, there are some gusts that'll go 25, 30 miles an hour. That poses another problem. We told you about the fire weather warnings in parts of the area on Wednesday. Even though we may not be as warm on Thursday, we still have low humidities. We still have dry brush, topsoil, dried out leaves. So there's a lot of kindling out there. The wildfire danger is real and elevated. In terms of our temperatures, we're just getting closer to average, not going way below. I mean, there's a day or two in there in the 7-day. We might knock it out of the 50s, but overall, you're not talking about anything unusual. The extended forecast, again, no significant rain really for the rest of the month, and you haven't seen your last 70s. They're going to come back midweek next week. Here's the parade planner. As we may start in the upper 50s to around 60, there might be a little bit of leftover cloudiness leaving the area. But even in a worst case, if a shower survived in New York City, it probably would be latest till maybe 9 o'clock. I think after that, we've dried out. So most likely it's just going to stay dry in the city. We climb through the lower 60s, which doesn't seem bad. But if you're in the shady side of the street and you're watching the parade and the winds are coming down the canyon, you're definitely going to notice that it feels rather gusty. So make sure you have the fall jacket. And we'll get into the mid-60s during the afternoon hours. Here's a futurecast starting in the wee hours of the morning on your Thursday with little passing stray shower around, a better chance of surviving off to the north, and there is some interaction over parts of Connecticut and Long Island. What's happening is the remnants of Oscar, believe it or not, way out in the Atlantic. There's some interaction between this upper level system coming through and that system offshore. And I just wonder if at the last second here, if it enhances a little bit of the moisture, all of a sudden we're talking about a shower that's more likely, at least more clouds, over Connecticut and Long Island in the early morning hours. You look at that late morning into early afternoon, we've cleared out. Maybe some stubborn clouds are staying on the east end. We're in the mid-60s with a cool breeze that can gust over 20-25 out of the northwest. Then the winds back off, so we'll have a chilly night into your Friday morning. It'll be in the 40s in New York City, and it'll be lots of 30s off to the north and west. Not even far from freezing in the Catskills and Poconos, 37 in Toms River, about 46 in Islip, and the Montauk's buffered by the water in the 50s there. During the afternoon hours on Friday, barely 60 degrees. But again, this should be fairly light wind and abundant sunshine, so that'll still feel like a pleasant fall afternoon. The futurecast gusts, it's already brisk by daybreak on Thursday, some gusts near 20 miles an hour, and then some gusts during the day can go up to about 30 miles an hour. So remember, we're starting the parade here, 10 o'clock in the morning. Some gusts could certainly be in that 25 mile per hour range, and the wind is accelerating down the canyon. It's still gusty in the afternoon hours, and then the winds start to tail off Friday evening, and the wind isn't much of a factor into your Friday, and high pressure is nosing up the coast, so we've got a beautiful day. There's another fairly feeble front that tries to come through Friday night into Saturday morning. With it, some patchy cloud cover. Maybe there's a shower, especially in the morning hours. And then it's a mix of sun and clouds and turning breezy during the day on Saturday. And those breezes, which could get a little gusty at times, last into, let's say, Sunday morning. So it is a breezy weekend overall. Now, Sunday's a nice day. High pressure building in, sunshine. It looks like there might be a patch of high clouds around, especially in the morning. So let's call it a mix of sun and clouds. But again, a nice fall day and mainly dry. So we'll get the update on the drought monitor on Thursday to come out every Thursday. So just take a little picture in your head of what this looks like now with abnormally dry conditions across the area. And south of I-78 in New Jersey, it's moderate to even some severe drought conditions over parts of southern Ocean County. So this will only deteriorate in its appearance once we get the update on Thursday. Driest start to October on record will roll on, more than 3 inches below average. So now we're tied for second for the longest October dry stretches in New York City, and we'll likely get to the top. I don't think we're getting anything measurable as we go through the next couple of days. Since September 1st, nearly 6 inches of rain below average, believe it or not. And for the year to date, nearly 2 inches below average. Reservoirs are running 6% below average level, so way below normal. And then this isn't encouraging. You look for late October into the first week of November, what the trend is, it's more below normal precipitation patterns into the northeast. And here are those rain chances. The Thursday morning threat is low, and so is the Saturday one. After that, you don't have any threat of rainfall as we go through midweek next week. What's interesting is in some of the long-range weather charts, the one day we don't want to see this dry streak broken, which would be Halloween, there may be a front coming through bringing a shower threat. So don't get worried. We don't know the timing on that just yet, whether it's during trick-or-treat time or later at night, but there is a front that's approaching. Looking at the overall steering currents, you have a cold shot, or a cool shot, I should say, that's dipping in from Canada. These have been very transient. We get a little chilly for a couple of days, and then we warm things up. So the weekend seasonably cool. Sunday's the coolest day. We're probably still in the 50s as we go through Monday. Of course, Yankees come back for Game 3. And then for Game 4, and if 5's necessary, you've got a nice warm-up into midweek next week. I think we're talking about getting back into the 70s. As we go into the early part of November, it looks like at least there's some cooling. Nothing outrageous or anything like that, but maybe seasonable. Could there be a day in there that's slightly below average? Because we're getting to a point where we'll be approaching the New York City Marathon. So I don't see anything extremely cold. And for the runners, it's good news that we might be leaving the pattern where we're way above normal. So hopefully we can get some 50s and 60s in there for the runners. But it does look like, I mean, you look at that pattern now, and this is the first time I'm getting a look at it because it just updated. Is that you go into the weekend, marathon weekend, and by the way, that Saturday evening is when we turn the clocks back, and the Sunday sunset will be around 4:30 or so. And you can see that actually a ridge is starting to build back in. So I think we'll start to get warmer into the first week of November again, but hopefully it's comfortably cool for the marathon. Here's the temperature trend, which does favor way above normal or a strong above normal signal into late October and early November. That doesn't mean it's hot for the marathon. That just means the temperatures are likely above average during that stretch. And you look at the overall trend here. So we've got this dip late week ahead of the front on Saturday at 66. 2 days in the 50s, Sunday and Monday. Warm things back up into the 70s. Could we push 80 again as we approach Halloween? Wouldn't that be unbelievable? A little warm in the costumes. And then as we go through that weekend, notice how you see that cooling there into the 60s by Saturday the 2nd, and probably into the 60s on Sunday, Marathon Sunday as well. The tropics have obviously quieted down. This is the remnants of Oscar stirring up things in the Atlantic, staying offshore, kicking up the surf a little bit, and hopefully just not interacting too much with this front coming eastward. While there are thunderstorms down over the tropical Atlantic, there's nothing really brewing. You can see the remnants of Oscar going to Newfoundland, and nothing suspicious. Maybe a little bit of spin here over the Caribbean in the first few days of November. It does look like there will be one more pulse up in tropical activity as we go through the first weekend of November. Remember, the season doesn't end until the 30th. Before we get to the actual forecast, just a note on the current fall foliage, which is some beautiful color over northwestern New Jersey into the Hudson Valley, north and west of I-287. There's still some beautiful low to moderate color on the island. Even in the city, we're seeing some patchy color. Only place now we're past peak once we get into the Catskills. There's been a lot of leaf drop, too, because of the dry conditions. And over the 7-day forecast, looking over the next week, we'll be past peak, Catskills, Poconos, peaking across the Hudson Valley and getting some really nice color right down into New York City and down to the coastal plain. Here's your 7-day accurate weather forecast. 60 degrees at 7 in the morning on your Thursday. Partly cloudy. Some areas could be mostly cloudy. Off to the east, it's breezy. There's a stray shower around. 48 to 58 for your suburban temperatures, and the winds are already gusting over 25. So gusty during the day, a lot of sunshine, middle 70s. Other than that early spot shower, mainly east, we see brightening skies and it's windy and cooler, but 65 is technically still above our average. 47 tomorrow night, the winds back off. Lots of our suburbs north and west will be in the 30s, maybe even freezing far north and west. Here's another quiet 7-day. Again, brisk for the Liberty Parade. Seasonable, sunny, and calmer on Friday, a little coolish. On Saturday, 66, might be a morning shower, clouds and sun. Bright but cooler on Sunday, a little breezy in the morning, some high clouds, then just partly to mostly sunny, 57. 58 on Monday, so in the 50s in the Bronx, feeling like October baseball, but then warming up into the mid-60s on Tuesday, and we're back in the 70s again by by Wednesday. Your 7-day AccuWeather forecast is always on ABC 7 NY 24/7. Thanks for listening to Weather or Not. We'll see you next time, rain or shine.